This past weekend, Ben Shapiro interviewed Gina Carano about her firing from The Mandalorian and how it went down. The interview was okay. Gina seemed exhausted, which makes sense with everything that happened, but she revealed quite a bit, and I think it confirmed what many people thought was already going on, namely that people at Lucasfilm wanted her gone, and they were just biding their time. She mentioned that it came across like they were headhunting, in a boxing sense, targeting her head while waiting to make the body shot. She also brought up the incident with an artist removing her character Cara Dune from a poster and replacing her with Ahsoka Tano, and the artist being really proud about doing it too. That was as clear an indication that something was up as you can get. Gina tracks this all back to the Twitterati trying to bully her into putting her pronouns in her bio.
I had a publicist at the time, and they said, you have to put out a, you have to do, you have to put out an apology. This is messed up. This is awful. And I was like, okay. I did say right after that tweet, I clarified for everybody, this was not directed towards the transgender community in any way. And I've also been watching celebrities apologize left and right, and it's very ingenuine. And I said, "Can you just give me a moment because I'm kind of feeling emotional right now, and can I just do my own research?" You know, and so you know they were like, "Okay, yeah, do your research, but you need to get on the phone tomorrow with our LGBTQ transgender section."
This really goes to show the level we're at right now. Instead of reaching out to Gina to find out her intentions or checking her Twitter feed to see that she explained what she meant, they assumed she meant the worst and then decided that she needed to be re-educated to correct her wrong thing. The people her publicist sent to her were at least sensible and admitted there wasn't anything there, but as we all know, it never ends there. It had to escalate because these people will not stop, and it did.
So they wanted me to get on the phone with like 40 of their LGBTQ community, not on the phone, on Zoom. And I felt like you're all these people, all your employees are slandering the hell out of me right now. You think I want to get on a video where they can then film it?
That's a struggle session. That's what she's describing. For those who don't know, a struggle session is this Chinese communist torture technique where the victim is forced to admit all their sins while the people around them verbally and physically humiliate and attack them. There's really no other way to describe what Disney wanted to do. What purpose is there for having 40 people, 40 people on a Zoom call with this woman if it wasn't about a struggle session? Everything you're hearing about what Gina Carano went through is exactly what happens in communist countries. It's nothing but psychological torture for wrong thing. And you gotta remember, they don't care what she actually said or what she actually wants to say in response. In the interview, she says that she wrote out a long apology and they were nitpicking it down to every other word because it wasn't apologetic enough. And that's because it was never about the apology. It was about control. They wanted power over her and she wasn't letting them have it. She even challenged them to check their own people because some of the folks at Lucasfilm were taking public shots at her and to look at what happens online with these Twitter mobs and their bullying. And these people had no response as expected. It continued to get ridiculous. They sent over a media trainer to, I guess, teach a grown woman how to communicate. But this person said an interesting thing.
And she said, look, you offered a logical answer to an emotional response. And that's not what they respond to. They're only going to, it only helps if you offer an emotional response to emotional response.
I've been saying this for a while. You can't reason with these people because they think logic is an attack. They only deal in emotion, but the media trainer is wrong because responding with emotion doesn't get these people to listen either. They want the emotional response because it makes them feel powerful and think they're winning. The only emotion you can show to affect them is humor. If you laugh at them, that's when you'll get a different response. But anything else is seen as a win on their part. You can't reason with them, but that doesn't mean you should abandon reason. You need to keep using it because it's your only defense against their crazy. They're true believers, and they're trying to convert you. As long as you maintain that 2 + 2 is 4, you're good. The moment you go, well, they win. This is one of the postmodern tricks, and Jordan Peterson and Gad Saad talked about this in their recent interview. These people use emotion as a tool to prevent and slap down criticism. This is why they say the personal is political, because then if you challenge their politics, it's seen as a personal attack, and they can write off whatever you say. The only way to get around this is to not play the game when they're applying it to you, but holding them to their own standard when you apply it to them, because that's the other trick to this. When they do it, it's not wrong. It's only wrong when you do it. So you have to use their own rules against them to force them to constantly have to change them. That's not to convince any of them to change their minds. It's so that everyone else sees what they really are, like this.
I mean, I saw somebody from the company accidentally sent me a conversation of that they were tracking the Fire Gina Carano hashtag on content that had nothing to do with me. It was actually like had zero to do with me. And then all of a sudden, I always get thrown in the mix. Like, okay, so this is trending, but let's put her in there. Fire Gina Carano, and um, they accidentally sent me an email, which was very enlightening. So I knew.
You have people in the company literally promoting the hashtag Fire Gina Carano and accidentally sending it to her. That tells you everything you need to know about the environment at Lucasfilm and Disney. These people are unhinged. They have no filter, no restraint. They can do whatever they want and face no consequences. This is how Pedro Pascal can use the Holocaust metaphor and completely slide, even though the image he used wasn't even the thing he thought it was. But then the same people turn around and accuse Gina Carano of being anti-Semitic for saying, "Don't be like Nazis." The faux outrage about it was more insane because these people have spent nearly a decade painting anyone not progressive as Nazis, including Jews like Ben Shapiro, while painting themselves as the victimized Jews. This has been completely accepted on the left, even as they celebrate open anti-Semites like Ilhan Omar and Linda Sarsour. These are the faces they present as their leading voices in their movement, and they're outright bigots. Now with Gina, the situation backfired because instead of getting her canceled, she got the opportunity to create her own movie. I don't imagine that the Daily Wire has a massive budget, but with the right idea, script, and director, you don't need one. She could do something like Extraction or John Wick, and that would be perfectly fine. It'll take time for the movie to get going, but if she can get some of the people she knows to be willing to join the film, or if some actors choose to do so on their own, it would be a massive statement against this kind of nonsense. That's the part that bothers me the most because Gina was willing to do something in an interview that no one has done for her. She stood up for her castmates. When Ben Shapiro took Pedro Pascal to task for getting away with doing the same thing Gina got fired for, Gina defended Pedro's character, not because Shapiro was attacking him, but simply to show that Pedro isn't what some people may think he is. She didn't have to do that. She could have just let Shapiro take the shot and move on, but that's not her character. This is her friend, and she's not going to let you say negative things about her friend. Just imagine if any of them other than Carl Weathers did the same thing for her. Imagine a different situation she'd be in and what Disney and Lucasfilm would have to deal with. She mentions in the interview that people are afraid of losing their jobs, and not just the cast, but the crew who are already at the bottom of Hollywood. I get why people wouldn't want to come forward, but at the same time, if this is your friend and you have any integrity, you take the hit. She's willing to take it for you, you should be willing to do it for her. This isn't just about your ability to work, this is about your character. Are you gonna let someone trash your friend? Even if she told you, no, don't say anything, you should still have the integrity to stand up for what you believe and for the people you call your friends. Y'all have left this woman, at least publicly, completely out there on her own, and it's inexcusable. Absolutely inexcusable. You've got to step the fuck up because this isn't going to stop. I keep saying it so it sinks in. These people are not going to stop. And when they come for you, and they will come for you no matter what you put in your bio, how dark your skin is, or who you want to fuck. When they come for you, there will be no one left to defend you. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.